Bonjour, I'm going to paint this cyberpunk lady, and by the end you should have a general idea of how to do it yourself, and you will own nothing and be happy. And by that I don't mean that in the freedom from exploitation by your removal from the treadmill of material needs kind of way. I more mean you should continue giving all of your money to my Patreon, and to smile while you do it. Which is a joke because I just bought a bunch of recording stuff and a lot of this video came out overexposed, so obviously I can't be trusted with material possessions, but I'll get better. There's a learning curve with new equipment and I'm trying to improve my... This base is going to be piss easy as far as interesting bases go, because it's going to have a very limited and messy palette, while still having a kind of cool effect by the end. The reason this is pretty easy is things that are in blasted out neon lighting lose a lot of their hue, so you're not going to need a lot of colors. There's going to be a bunch of blue light source coming from below, so do a natural highlight. Then a very all-over airbrush of Warlord Purple anywhere the harsh lights of the lamplights would reach from above. We want the colors to catch more exposed places, so go slowly. Make lots of tiny passes. If you just shotgun the thing, it'll lose a lot of depth. I'm going to mention regrets I've made. Like this here, normally I test and poke around a lot before committing, but I had a very short window to complete this commission. I think it would have been better to use a blacker wash like Nuln Oil on the base here instead of the more pissy browny army painter wash. And I should have done it after the bluish airbrushing, so the purple would smooth it all out a bit. I also had a loose idea that I wanted the wings to appear to be glowing from within, so I used Flow Aid with teal to roughly sketch in where the glow will go. Another jump to the cloak. I'm going to do some freehand on it, so I kept it in cool gray, so hopefully the runes I paint later pop off. Every once in a while when using a paint, if I notice a place it would go somewhere else, I jump over and use the opportunity. I know lots of people suggest finishing one part of a model at a time, but their neurotypical brains disgust me. The wings are very similar to what I did with Magnus the Red. If you want a longer example of this, that video is on YouTube still, but basically we just make little ticks at 45 degrees from the center of the feather out to the edge of the wing. Firstly with a deeper red, then secondly adding some white and making smaller ticks concentrated at the edge of the feather. It came out okay in this case, but if I did this over, I'd probably add a bright peach color instead of a white, so the transition wouldn't be so jarring from base color to highlight. Maybe only adding a bit of off-white to the mix at the end. I wanted the inside and outside to look distinct, so I went for a more traditional cyberpunky scheme on the outside of the wing. I mixed 50-50 off-white with the base blue color for the first pass, then just off-white for the highlighting ticks. This was in fact an insane thing to do, and just looked completely oversaturated by the end. Combined with my oversaturated levels while filming, I'm probably white phosphoring your retinas right now, so I'm sorry. There's a way to fix most screw-ups though, and glazing some purple wash into the center of the feathers did smooth things out a bit, but it should still be said that if I had held back on so much white initially, this would have come out much better. But this is me nitpicking at myself. The final result is fine. This is fine. There's a difference between self-examination and negative self-talk. Also, quick thanks to Dale for the DDD patch that's in the background here. I just kind of wanted to show it off. I gave it to me as part of my birthday present, which was very sweet of him, and I like it a lot. The runes were fun. I spent a lot more time dancing around and deciding what little shapes to make than actually putting brush to model. I think it would have been safer sketching things out beforehand or using a temporary marker to establish them first. But I feel like that's like kissing with your eyes open, you know? It's fine, just feel it out. It's just paint. If you can't be risky here, where can you be risky? But, you know, there's different ways to do it. Same red as the wings. I, again, use flow aid instead of water and just start reproducing some basic patterns I decided on beforehand. Intersecting circles, intersected with random lines, slashes and dots in groups of 3. If you decide on a few basic patterns to start with, it's easy to just pick from that little mental toolbox you've created, than just kind of locking up with analysis paralysis and not really knowing what to do next. Once the runes were in place, I started adding orange and then white and glazing over them, reducing smaller and smaller at various random points where I feel like the runes should glow from, adding more and more of the off-white as I get to the final dot. I thought the cloak was a little plain, so I added brighter gray and then off-white to the base color and started adding little ticks to look like fabric texture. This would obviously have been better done before I put down the runes, and this was crazy to do at this point, but I had it in my head that it needed it, and the idea of not doing something that I really want to do artistically makes me feel like someone is chewing on the teeth that are still in my mouth. I didn't go crazy on the clothing here because a lot of it was covered up by the wings, but the skin was just your standard approach of slightly bronzed Caucasian flesh, coated in flesh shade, then highlighted with some off-white added to the initial flesh color. The wraps were honestly nearly the same, just with a sepia wash and a slightly less orangey base color. This might seem obvious, but I think I made a bit of a breakthrough personally for hair. I think anytime I added a wash, I always went too deep, creating recesses with unnaturally dark contrast. Look how much contrast medium I'm diluting this peach tone with. It seems outrageous, but it ended up being the sweet spot for a well-lit figure. Though I had to slop so much on, I had to sit there turning the head around in circles so it wouldn't pool. But whatever, I was playing Kitten's game with my other hand, so it's not like I was doing anything else. It's a game where you manage a colony of kittens with spreadsheets. The thing I hate most about my regular job is spreadsheets, but you put kittens in there. Hell yeah. My final regret for the sake of radical honesty and personal growth here is the non-metallic metal could have used more time. I started with blue contrast, dry brush teal, and then highlighted lemon white, but it all just ended up looking rather teal. So let's say I wasn't painting it as metallic blue. Let's just say that I was intending to paint it all teal initially. All right, what would I have done to make it actually better? Probably just shading some navy blue into the recesses to give it some more believable contrast, and in building up the reflections, actually changing the hue, not just the tone, so everything wouldn't look so washed out. Final lap on this figure is picking up the airbrush again, adding some reflecting light here and there into the wings, and then refining the highlight up again. Oh wait, another regret. I mean, it wasn't a regret before, but the glow in the wings, people kept saying, look like verdigris. The verdigris looks great. So, I've had a couple people say that, but it's not verdigris. It's supposed it's supposed to be glow. It's not an airplane, Mom. It's a cat. No, I don't want you to put it on the fucking fridge if you can't even tell what it is. What am I? Some artist Nepo baby? Yes, I'd like a granola bar. Listen, it's good that it looks like okay verdigris, but I wanted it to be glow, so I'm annoyed by that. What I think would have sold it as a glow is going back with the brush and a deeper blue to stipple out the edges of the glow to make it look like glow is actually falling off into a darker blue. I think that would have sold it as glow instead of verdigris, but yeah. To push the highlights on the base, you just take a big brush and use a pink neon from whatever manufacturer. I think Warcolor is the best, but I don't even know if you can buy that anymore. But they're all pretty similar, just trying to hit places right under the neon lamp lights. And then finally adding in lemon white to the neon and hitting the points of sparkle, only higher up, and taking care not to overdo it. That's pretty much it. Thanks for stopping by. If you're seeing this video, it's because you actually came to my Patreon and signed up, and whether paid or free, I don't really care. It is incredibly kind of you to do so, and I'm very appreciative.